Nothing But the Truth, Chapter 9, Tuesday, March 27th, 6:23 p.m. Discussion between Philip Malloy's parents. Mrs. Malloy: Honey, did you have a chance to look at Phil's grades? Mr. Malloy: What? Did you look at Phil's grades? I left them on the bureau. Yes. Where is he? In the basement, on your rowing machine. Should use that thing more myself, putting on weight. You certainly are. Did you? I'm looking at them now. What do you think? Not too bad, except for English. What's the problem there? He says it's the teacher. I've seen him read. He's reading some paperback. Insiders, Outsiders, I don't know, some girl gave it to him. That doesn't seem to be the problem. I never was one for reading much. I mean, other than sports, course now papers, too much of that. Ben, he could flunk that course. Won't be the end of the world. What would he have to do? Go to summer school? Maybe that's the lesson he needs. Kids only do what they want to do. The last couple of days he's been very moody. Come on, he's 14. He doesn't want to talk, to me anyway. Maybe you should be spending more time with him. I know, all tied up in this. I understand, but work's better, isn't it? Some. Did he make the track team? You know, I completely forgot to ask him. Maybe that's the problem. I'll talk to him. Do you know, about a week ago, he asked me if you and I, were getting a divorce. What? Really? How'd he come up with that? I'm not sure. Maybe he'd overheard. I told him bickering happens in a marriage. It's perfectly normal. Life isn't a sitcom. Right. The real world doesn't have a laugh track. 8:50 p.m. Discussion between Philip Malloy and his... That's the recording, not the bell. 8:50 p.m. Discussion between Philip Malloy and his father. Mr. Malloy: Can I talk to you? Sure. How much time are you spending on this? A few times a day, short sprints. Like I'm always telling you, just make sure you warm up each time, but it's good for the back, helps with starts. I know. Phil? School stuff. Straight up. What's the story in English? What do you mean? I saw your grades. Most of them are decent. What's with English? I can speak it. Seriously. You want the truth? Sure, well, it's the teacher, Narwin. What do you mean? She has it in for me. How come? I don't know. Nobody likes her. People don't do well in her classes except her favorites. Want me or your ma to go in and talk to her? I can handle her. What are you reading in school? Julius Caesar, Shakespeare? Uh-oh. So bad. This Narwin has us reading these tiny bits every night, but no one understands it. I mean it, no one. She says it's English, but it must have been English before English got there. At least it's not any English I've ever heard. Well, reading is important. I read. Ever heard of The Outsiders? It's about these guys. They live alone without parents. I think I saw it on cable. How you getting on with the track team, Phil? I was thinking I wouldn't try out. Come again? Thinking of not trying out. Are you kidding? No. But high school track is... Why? A lot of reasons. Like what? Dad, I want to know. Just because you did it doesn't mean I have to. Now, wait a minute. You're really into it. We just got you new shoes, and you're good. Better than I ever was. You are. I love watching you run. You shouldn't give it up. And here you are, working out. I don't get it. What's going on? Nothing. Didn't you tell me the coach asked you to be on the team? Well, it doesn't mean... Phil, I don't get it. It's my choice. Phil, let me tell you something. If God gives you a ticket, you better use it. A ticket to what? Running. I'll think about it. Those shoes weren't cheap either. Real first-class stuff. I mean, I don't understand. I thought you were ready for it. Come on, Dad, I'm not you. 9:24 p.m. from a letter written by Margaret Narwin to her sister, Anita Wiggum. Anita, the truth is I'm hurt. Never in all the years I've been at Harrison have I asked for anything in the way of extra funds. If it were a case of no money available for anyone, why, I could accept that. But no, a certain Kimberly Howard, who had been here for only 2 years and who has a husband who works for some large corporation, she received money. And for some idiotic course in marching band music. It makes me outraged to think about it. What has happened to our society? Where are its values? I suppose marching bands make a big show. Bread and circuses, Anita. Bread and circuses. That's all it is. I don't think I've ever been so angry. I think there's a question of fairness here. That old-fashioned word, respect, how often Mother used it, occurs to me often these days. Call it pride, call it vanity, but I would like some respect for all I have done here. From the community, from the administration, yes, from the students. I work hard for them. The truth is, it's our superintendent's doing. There's a second budget vote coming up. I told you the first one failed. He sent out a memo to everybody warning us that it might fail again, almost a threat. He's a very political person, but then all he wants is to keep his job. Ugh, I'm so angry. 10:40 p.m. from the Diary of Philip Malloy. Folks got my grades. Ma asked me a few things about them before supper. I didn't say much. Then, afterward, Dad talked to me about the grades. Wasn't that he blew his stack or anything. I told him the truth. He seemed to understand, but then he asked me about my being on the track team. Didn't know what to say. If I told him what happened, he would have been really mad, so I just said I decided I wouldn't go for the tryouts. That got him upset. I just realized two things that make me want to puke. Track practice.
7th and 8th grade symphonic band students should all be in the auditorium at this time.
That is not an announcement for today. That is an announcement from the day I recorded this. Track practice starts tomorrow and I'm not on the team. Also, I start homeroom with Narwin. Can't stand even looking at her. I have to find a way to get transferred out. 11:45 p.m. Discussion between Philip Malloy's parents. Did you talk to Philip about that grade? Sure. What's going on? I'm not sure. Fussing with the English teacher. Well, what do you mean? Like he told you, he doesn't like her. I told him he didn't have much choice. Take the bad with the good. Then he said he wasn't going to try out for track. That he was not? That's what he told me. But that's all he thinks about. I know. He doesn't know how good he is. I reminded him. Did he give a reason? Not really. Something about not having to do what I did. Oh, he'll change his mind. Kids are so moody. Hope so. Maybe just don't mention it. Maybe. I'm glad you spoke to him. Not every father would. He doesn't make it easy.